Now that's funny.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's funny because it's unexpected.
Hey guys, my name's DocJade. Today we're playing a totally normal mod called Fun Mode. No spoilers, so let's get right into it. I fell into a burning ring of fire, and there is not a single healthy tree nearby to protect us from pollution. Uh-oh. Well, rocket debris, no trees, but there is the tech tree, which for extra funness is completely hidden. I also have 19 bots for some reason. Mining timing, so down go the drills, but I don't have chests. Yeah, that's fun. No stockpiling for us. I'll grab some more stone for more furnaces, which the stone wasn't very stony, it was a tad bitey. What did I do? I drowned. While walking back, I grabbed some trees, and not unlike the hot single moms in my area, my body decided to start running away from me. Hey! Yeah! With my previous 2 iterations face down in the lake, I can't get my stuff back. Make that 3. Picking up my coal, I ended up with some random fish. Where did the fish come from? Then again, when I grabbed my iron. Wait, where are these? There is a recipe to delete fish, which makes me worried. Steam power! Now for copper for electronics. With that in play, turns out the fish are the burnt result of coal. I'm going to end up with a lot of fish. By an act of COD, my bodies are no longer bodies of water, so I got my stuff back.
Electronics.
Okay, so I need to make a... What is this? Green? This is definitely... Lab in the queue, I noticed that the stone furnaces are uncraftable, and that they have been replaced with the stone furnace stack, which is made of 120 stone. And small power poles have been replaced with big electric poles. Fun. This sucks. This is awful. Red Slurpee juice! Looking into it, and by it, let's just say my lab, it seems that purple and yellow science have been replaced with 2 more green sciences. When I died and picked up my bodies, I apparently got to keep them. Okay, I love what you've done with the UI. So stupid. Okay. Steam engines have underground pipes now. Red Slurpee juice in the lab, let's look at research. What immediately caught my eye was Mercy. 5 science packs for 1% lab productivity. It's practically useless. Since we have no trees to absorb pollution, we'll do military first. I didn't notice till now, but I've been wearing the wooden armor, which has a wooden roboport in it, which, as you might guess, takes wood, but it charges so slowly that I won't even bother trying to use it. Negative 100% acid? Okay, well that's not, I'm not keeping that on me. I'm gonna, oh wait, I should read this first. No, that's normal, okay. Military. Time for a machine gun. Next up is automation. I'll craft the science for it and take out some biters, but on my way back I saw this big landfish. Copper, I hardly know her, and that's automation. Well, obviously I'm supposed to move on to light green Slurpee juice, but I'm nervous. I'm just gonna do what I know. What did you do? Using those assemblers, in goes hand-fed science production. What have you done to the animation? Using those assemblers, in goes some hand-fed science production. I already said that line. Although I am still chestless. And looking through the tree, I don't see a way to research any either. I'm going to need oil eventually, so I went for another stroll, but I didn't find any. Okay. Transportation finished, and I also researched light green Slurpee juice, which unlocked sacrifices, which will allow you to sacrifice fish for lab productivity. Green science is easy, just green circuits. Not having small or medium power poles is very fun, but I'll work with what I'm given. After sacrifices, I'll research electric mining drills, making of which will trigger the second red Slurpee juice research. With big power poles, it's not possible to make the usual 2 to 3 green circuit setup, so in an act of defiance, I just won't build any major production until I have some actually useful power poles. I have enough stone to make a stone furnace stack now, which is exactly what it says on the tin. An entire furnace stack. Not gonna lie, it's actually very handy. Still waiting on sacrifices, but I did notice there's a research for iron plate productivity, which will double our plate output. Although it is a tad on the expensive side, so maybe later. By the way, you can't place regular inserters facing vertically. So they only face left to right? What have you done? You have to research it. Continuing on my journey, I stood around long enough that I was given a friend Pepros. Who is this? Although they're quite shy and they don't talk much, or do much of anything really. Sacrifices. We're gonna sacrifice one of my dead bodies. And then we're gonna sacrifice... What? Oh, you have to make more... Oh, wait. No. So, wait. Oh, they're... Oh, my God. So, it's... This is... Is each one two? Oh, and then they take other... Fish glue? Fish 12 is made of almost 250,000 fish, by the way. Okay, well, what are these other ones? Sacrifice your friend. I'm worried this is gonna have... I'm worried there's gonna be some kickback from this. He screams for mercy. I forgot to record it, but electric miners finished researching and multi-directionality after that. Now we beg for mercy. To unlock Slurp More Juice, we'll need 30 mining drills, and we'll research a few things. Fun turrets, walls, and fast inserters. We'll need some steel pretty soon, but this isn't steel, this is Greel, and Greel is a little goblin. 1,000 Greel, 5,000, 16,000 second crafting time? How many hours is that? 16,000 divided by 6, yeah, 4.5 hours. Ugh. Greel. Then I drank some one-day blinding stew. Challenge time. Unmap all chunks. What? Sacrificing fish, and I'm thinking about setting up defenses, but I'm worried about what exactly fun means in fun turret. Okay, I'm gonna put 1. Okay, well, it didn't shoot me, so we're good. Fish sacrificed, more lab productivity, and we'll start stockpiling for Greel, which will take quite a while. Next up, I want the next level of assemblers, which are offshore assemblers, which, as the name clearly states, needs to be placed on water, in which I drown. That'll be fun. But to craft those, I'll need Cluffered Hose Restrictors. What is a Cluffered Hose Restrictor? I have no clue, but they take gears, sticks, and Greel. Whatever. I'll research widgets to unlock them. Oh, look. Just scribbled out the... Thank you. Thank you. Well, wait, no, it's green science. What do I need to make green science? Oh, I need Greel and Slurpee. Okay, sure. Well, for the Cluffs in science, we'll need a lot of Greel, which is definitely going to hold us back for a while. Green Slurpee Juice is done, followed by Offshore Assemblers, the end of this joke, and Slurp More Juice. Turns out that Slurp Juice isn't an actual item, it's just a research that unlocks more researches, including chests! Finally! Thank you! As per usual, we're out of power, but as not per usual, regular pipes are now underground pipes. After attempting to breathe underwater, twice, I wasn't even in. I sacrificed 500 light green Slurpee Juice for some more lab productivity, then researched unboiling, which allows you to make solid steam, which we'll be able to use in a solid steam engine, but we'll need microgrit fastening to craft those, which take walls. I'll also grab tool belt and greener greens. Distilled green. Oh, and radars. Collecting more fish, I finally saved up enough to buy another level of fish sacrifice. The rotation of Navis is getting slower. Day-night cycle length by 5 minutes. Well, not all players were sufficiently green, so research was cancelled. I'm not changing my color to green. No. Is that a requirement? After sufficiently greening myself and trying to trick the system. What a stupid requirement. We finally started cooking our first batch of Greel. With Greel, we'll be able to finally research medium power pools, which will let us set up some proper production. Purple. We just need to wait around on Greel now. And since the crafting speed is 24 and not 1, that means it should take around 12 minutes instead of 4.5 hours. Fluid handling, longness, complex doohickey, heavy armor, and lamps. And finally, our first load of Greel, which immediately unlocked Greel Axe as well. Gee, thanks. Time for the power poles. A second tool belt is helpful when your inventory is 9... Wait. Oh. With the grill making the science, I had to figure out why steam engines weren't getting enough water. Turns out offshore pumps only make 5 water per second. In goes more pumps, then I'll make a greenhouse to take another look at distilled green. What do we need it for? No idea. Medium poles in hand, down comes everything we've built so far, and we can finally start putting together a bus. Although the belts do move backwards. Oh my. Usually more miner reach would be useful, but mining from this mixed patch is a bit of a pain. With more ore ready for smelting, I made some heavy armor. Why am I walking so Oh, I was right, the heavy armor makes you walk slower. I called it. Light armor makes you walk faster. Not gonna lie, I'm really loving these furnace stacks. Now that iron, copper, and grill are ready, we'll need a fish output from all the furnaces. Back goes a line of coal for the boilers, but then I noticed that crafting burner inserters was taking longer than usual. Investigating further, turns out that burner inserters can now move 31 items at a time, which is useful in concept, but I'm not gonna belt around coal to take advantage of that. It also has a health bar like the labs do. Still not sure what's up with that. Fat stacks of coal in, fish out, then belt and inserter production. The amount of excess fish is starting to swamp my inventory, so I'll have to compact it all down into fish 2 to get my space back. Glossing over a bit, labs, red slurpy juice, and fed Clufford hose restrictor production. Then I made an offshore assembler to check that it was in fact offshore. Green circuits, more green circuits, light green slurpy juice, and green slurpy juice. Now that we're back up to speed, solid steam engine, widgets 2, and brick production for walls for microgrip fastenings. I'll make some of these solid steam engines in a bit. Next up would be engine, or engines, since there's 7 of them, all of which have the same crafting recipe. But I don't want to deal with that right now, so we'll just do iron plate productivity instead. Underground pipes have the same distance as normal pipes, but they also have a weird quirk where you can place them in between themselves and they still connect. I'm not sure if that'll come in handy or not, but okay. I started making solid steam, which goes onto the solid steam belt. Yeah, which goes onto the bus since we'll need it for distilled green. Oh, and underground belts aren't made in pairs. You get one at a time. Fun! I did find a use for distilled green though. You can use it to make grenades. You can also unlock better walls, which lets you place them off grid. No thanks. I will, however, grab landfill, since we'll still need to get fluids in and out of the offshore assemblers later. Solid steam engines in place, it makes a lot more power than the regular steam engines. I'll definitely make more later. Next up, dark green slurpy juice, which is made of green slurpy juice, rail signals, and distilled green. But we haven't unlocked rails yet, so we can't make it. But there's also Bob the inserter, which is researched with burner inserters somehow, and it swings very fast. I'll stockpile burners for Bob, since burner inserters take quite a while to craft. I went to look for oil again, but I tripped over a cliff. Picking up my corpse would not be fun, since the moment I get close to it, it would start sliding its way over towards that biter nest. I'll just wait for it to come back on its own. For oil, we'll need pump jacks, except it's not oil, it's grape juice. Okay then, with my stuff back and grape juice extraction researched, we'll unlock soda processing once we mine some grape juice. Soda machines and physical plants. Interesting. Processing grape juice turns it into Sprite. Okay. I had a nice trip, see you next fall, and finally found a grape juice spring, but it's super far away from the base. Great. I'll need a train to move it that far without losing my mind, so I'll start researching towards those while running power over to the spring. Hopefully we can sneak the grape juice away without pissing off the biters. But turns out, we won't need to do any of that, since with a pump jack, you don't pump up grape juice, you just pick up the entire spring. Well, at least I don't need to run a train all the way over here. I'll need to deal with those biters eventually though, so I'll grab military too, and solar panels, or lunar panels. With spring cleaning complete, back at the base, I'll craft soda machines, which take springs as an ingredient. That is a lot of connections. I'm worried. The soda machines make grape juice from thin air, so we can set up production for that up yonder and start collecting it. To take out the biter nests, I want a flamethrower, which I'm not sure how that's going to work with grape juice, but whatever. But we'll still need dark green slurpy juice to get there, which we still need to unlock trains for, so engines, then railway. With a greenhouse to separate the green from steam, railway finishes, and we'll research dark green slurpy juice, which is made in greenhouses, which I guess makes sense. Rail signals in the top, and that's another juice under our belt. Now for flammables and gray Slurpee juice, which looks like normal military science, but don't be fooled, this is gray Slurpee juice. There is no such thing as military science, and anyone telling you such is an enemy of the state, and you need to report them immediately. Grenades are made in greenhouses, but I'll just hand feed the rest of the juice since I'm feeling a bit lazy. For a Slurpee juice in hand, we unlock flamethrowers, which we can only make the ammo in offshore assemblers. One long pipe later, some floating point production, and a car later. I would set off to do some biter cleanup, but I don't have my driver's license yet. The license also unlocks driving lessons to teach me how to drive better, but nah, who needs that?
Hey, how are you? Hey, so what happened? You're gonna be issued a citation today.
I did some more biter cleanup, drowned in a puddle. The days got longer again, more cleanup, yada yada yada. Then I head back to the research lab, research speed, sulfur processing, and plastic. Sulfur is made in offshore assemblers, and I just noticed that some of the recipes say water 1. That makes me worried. Moving grape juice production, in goes sulfur and plastic, which craft a lot faster than I was expecting. Checking in on the sacrifice list, we can sacrifice 500 microgrip fastenings for more lab productivity. The more the merrier, and the easier the run will get. If you ever play this for yourself, for some reason, you should definitely rush the productivity sacrifices as soon as possible. There's also a car sacrifice, so I made some more for that, and I went to fix up my old one, but I'm apparently too stupid to use the complex doohickey, so I had to have one of my woodbots do it for me. I also sacrificed Greel, since we had a bit of a buffer going. Now, back on task. Red circuits, which have the normal ingredients that you've come to know and love, but they also produce seahorses. At least you can turn them into fish, I guess. Then modules, so we can get even more productivity. But those take seahorses as an ingredient. Great! I guess seahorses are going on the bus then. Efficiency. Then batteries and stack inserters, which seems suspiciously normal. Plastic and sulfur onto the bus, then a random belt in the factory decided to rotate itself, but I was able to find it pretty quickly. In goes sulfuric acid, but it takes the dreaded water 2. Now, how do we make that? Looking through every research we can currently unlock, nothing. Until I spotted sit down and think very hard, which says we'll think about something blue. Subtle. After not moving for a few seconds, we can now research blue Slurpee juice. Not exactly what I was hoping for. It also takes seahorses. Maybe we can make the water 2 in the physical plants. Never mind. Well, water 2 will be put on hold, I guess. I'll start working on blue science in the meantime. First up is red circuits. Seahorses and red circuits on the bus. Blue science is done.
You'll never get past Lab 2.0.
Yeah, buddy, we'll see about that. Thankfully, blue science allows us to research water 2, which is actually just hydrogen peroxide, but don't tell anyone. But then there's Lab 2, which needs flat-headed box gizmos. While swimming is fun, what's not fun is the implications of instability. What is a permanent building? Whatever, I'll grab mining productivity, accumulators, and stack inserter capacity bonus. Taking a very close look at the blue Slurpee juice, it does not take chemical engines, it takes conductive engines. Very sneaky. All of the modules later. That's blue science ready to go. Down to the labs it travels, and we'll research water 2, pumping of which takes offshore pump 2s, which are made of 50 offshore pumps, 350 iron plates each. In the background, I've continued to level up our fish, and now we can do the 5th level of fish sacrifice. Explosives got researched as well, since you can sacrifice them for lab productivity. Coming up right after Lab 2.0 is substations, which are made with a single iron plate. I feel like this is payback for having to suffer through the big power pull phase. But the research takes labs as a science, so that's what the random bars on items are for. Level 2 water in play, there's our first drops of sulfuric acid. And right next to it went explosives, which you really shouldn't hold.
What?
Lab 2.0 point. Oh, that's a period, never mind. Still need flat-headed box gizmos for it though, which takes iron plates and batteries. Luckily, all of the fluid recipes that were moved to the offshore assemblers are very fast. Moving very quickly, I grabbed enough explosives to research the explosive sacrifice before immediately blowing up. I've died 10 times so far. I went to put explosives and batteries onto the bussy, but explosives are so volatile that they immediately explode the belts. Whatever, I'll deal with that in a minute. In go flat-headed box gizmos, and we make our first Lab 2.0. The lab takes quite a few different science ingredients, including complex doohickeys, regular labs, burner inserters, boilers, explosives, and whatever that is. Well, since we need explosives for the labs, we'll need to figure out a way to move them around. Luckily, they don't explode when they hit the ground, so we can use a conga line of inserters to move them around. In they go, along with complex doohickeys and labs. Advanced soda processing is currently standing in for advanced oil, and I'm already worried about this grape juice flavored fish recipe, but advanced processing lets us make Coca-Cola and greasy orange juice? How can orange juice be greasy? After that, I'll grab lubricant. And solid lubricant. I got steamy and made another sacrifice. Then automated boilers for the lab. The next science, purple Slurpee juice, takes burner inserters as a research ingredient as well, which will actually be one of our largest automation setups due to its stupidly long craft time. Advanced material processing, and electric furnaces, which are made entirely from widgets, doodads, and trinkets of that nature. I was hoping I wouldn't have to automate those. And you know what? I won't. I've got these one-off productions scattered around the base, so I'll just hand-feed purple science. We've gotta be close to the end of the run anyways, alright? Productivity modules, another fish sacrifice. Then I had to set up advanced soda. What is wrong with you? After that was done-ish, I carefully added a second lab, making sure to not accidentally pick up the explosives on the ground. In goes more prod mods for more prod in my mods, a third lab, and the first hand-fed furnace production. Rails to the left of me, purple juice to my right, here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Cliffside silo assembly, oh boy, and Pi science pack? Red circuits are slower than my upload schedule, so I grabbed stuff to expand it with, but while doing that, I got cursed with the permanent buildings 10% of the time. Honestly, not that big of a deal since I don't tend to move my stuff around very often, except for this belt. There's more red circuits, and with all the sacrifices I've done, we have over 200% lab productivity. I couldn't help but notice a research with a cat on it, fittingly named Cat. A cat to protect you from Cheeseman. Who is Cheeseman? I have a feeling that Cheeseman is not a kind soul. Ammo production and a square of turrets should hopefully save me from him whenever he shows up. After adding more miners than a Minecraft YouTuber's Twitter DMs, I'll need to figure out how to get rid of all these great flavored fish, since they only stack to 4. We'll have to use fish to destroy the fish. Cliffside silo assembly and more solid steam power. Cliffside assemblers take MRI oxyclit finger sensors, and I don't have those unlocked yet. And I don't see any more widget researches, but I did take a sneak peek at Rocket Control Unit 2.0's, which looked completely normal to me, and I didn't understand what was wrong with them until I remembered that they were removed from the game. I'm still getting used to that. Another research caught my eye though, refined solid fuel, which unlocks the refined solid fuel refinery. Okay then. We can craft cliffs now, which will be useful for the cliffside assemblers later, if we ever make those. I'm procrastinating on Pi as usual, so more mining productivity. Wait a second, what's that? Refined solid fuel, which unlocks the refined solid fuel refinery. There's also longer arms. Arms have hands, which have fingers, and you measure oxygen levels with a clip on your finger, so maybe MRI oxyclit finger sensors are locked behind it. Maybe. No, they weren't. Moving Pi back to the front of the queue, let's set it up. Right after we set up cracking, is it still called cracking? For the sodas, so we don't back up on Coke or orange juice. Thankfully, there's no water input for these recipes, which makes my life way easier. Getting cracked out of my mind reminded me of lubricant, which I'll set up later. Right now, we need to make Pi science packs, which are made from 250 coal gas. What? Sneaking some soda machines down here, we can turn 15 coal into 150 coal gas and 50 tar, and the tar can be turned into Coca-Cola, which we can solidify back into coal again. Not so carefully adding another pipe. I set that all up, and now none of you can claim that I haven't played Pyanodons. Into the labs it goes, more purple Slurpee juice, and refined solid fuel, which lets us research refined solid fuel, which unlocks the refined solid fuel refinery. We'll also grab electric engines and flying robot frames, since I'm guessing we'll still need them for yellow science, Slurpee juice, whatever. Lube is green, so it's made in the greenhouse, but nothing takes liquid lube, so we have to immediately unboil it into solid lubricant. After unlocking the flying frames, we get a warning about Cheeseman, who does not appear to be real, since there's no sign of him on the map, but it did make me pretty nervous. From then on, I started playing zoomed all the way out in case Cheeseman did come for me, and I always moved the inventory out of the way so I could keep an eye on myself. In went more engine production. This time, they're chemical engines for the electric engines, which will go right above it. That's refined solid fuel. Next would be refined solid fuel, which would unlock the refined solid fuel refinery, but I'm starting to get worried that this is a wild goose chase. Do we really need to research this? The Spidertron is available for research, weirdly. No thanks, I'm not taking such a large detour right now. When a logistics bot and a construction bot love each other very much, there's a chance to get an extra bot when they, fulfill each other's logistics requests? Man, I don't know. But the freaky bots are useful though, since there's a sacrifice you can do with 1,000 logistics bots. I guess I'll unlock it. More lab research speed. Queuing up the prerequisites for yellow Slurpee juice, it takes low density structure. What is this? What? Yeah, that'll be fun to automate. At least you can almost always get the reactor back. Grabbing concrete for the inevitable rocket silo. The description also notes that you can build offshore assemblers on these, which makes me worried that I'll drown if I step on concrete, but we'll see. There's also another level of soda processing, very advanced soda processing, which takes seahorses, coal, red circuits, green circuits, sulfuric acid, and steam, then crafts for 5 seconds and outputs 1 solid steam, 2 grape-flavored fish, 10 water 1, 2 blue circuits, 10 grape juice, 40 tar, 10 distilled green, 20 Fanta, and 40 pretentious water. No, I am not looking forward to it. Adding even more labs, I started prepping for concrete, which takes water too, but that didn't go very well. Eventually though, the concrete is conk here, and we've got bot breeding. But I do also want to make the next fish sacrifice, which required me to dump out most of my inventory to make room for the ingredients, and I'll be crafting it for probably about the next hour or so. Time for the very advanced soda. Over comes red and green circuits, the research finishes, along with a nice and encouraging message about setting it up. Then we need a research processing unit on boiling, because the soda machine outputs processing unit fluid, and not the units themselves. And yellow science, which we'll need nuclear reactors for, so might as well grab uranium processing as well. Maybe we can sneak in a nuclear power setup. Uranium isn't too far away, but I want to make sure the biters haven't expanded back into our territory before we go get that. Never mind, Cheeseman is coming. Cheeseman has 2,000 health, and shoots a pretty powerful laser. He is damaged by fire, so I tried making him walk through a solid line of it, but that didn't do nearly enough damage. I led him over to the turrets that we prepared earlier, which he almost destroyed, but they just managed to take him out. But apparently, Cheeseman will be back. Well, back to it I guess. The new soda processing has a different output on almost every outlet, except for a duplicate water, which organizing into tanks was fun. And I also decided to get back onto the refinery train. The description says this is refining at its second best, so hopefully there's only one more level after this. Once all the fluids were sorted out, I threw in the ingredients. I'll probably just end up clearing these tanks by hand. Back to uranium, we'll need sulfuric acid to mine it, and I don't want to run a pipe that far since I have to manually place each pipe one at a time. But guess what? You can't barrel fluids. I thought that I might just skip out on uranium after all, but I have to get it since we'll need it to unlock Water 2 version 2 later, which takes uranium-238 for the pump. Luckily, I had a brainwave. I can just bring the plates and sulfur over to the mine and make the acid on site. But getting back into my car to run the power back killed me, since I drove it into the lake. Power ran, uranium, then I tried to figure out how to get more water 2 out of this mess that I've created so I could make more concrete. Luckily, I can just give up and make another pump. Refined solid fuel is done, which finally unlocks rocket fuel. Still need to finish yellow science though, so in goes nuclear fission for the low density structure, and more rocket silo prerequisites. Then I grabbed the robots I'll need to set up bot breeding, and walked into another lake. twice. Yellow science is quite complicated with all the random items in it. I guess I'll have to hand feed it like purple science, especially for the low density structure, since it takes tanks and flamethrowers along with the reactor. And to make flamethrowers, you have to smelt fun turrets in a furnace. Hand feeding enough gray Slurpee juice to unlock military 3 and tanks, and I also queued super beacons, which you have to research how to craft more of them, but they have a distribution efficiency of 5, which means anything you put into it will be transferred to nearby machines at 5 times stronger than the original module, which will be very useful. There's a lot of things happening at once here, but we also need to work on rocket fuel production, which will need one of each of the 5 levels of solid fuel refineries to make. And that fish productivity that I started crafting forever ago finally finished. Refined solid fuel refinery. Oh, it's tiny. Blue science is our current bottleneck, so I threw a beacon down there, but nothing happened, since I never realized that you can't beacon level 1 assemblers. I stared at the pause screen for a good 5 minutes, thinking very deeply about this big red button. So I pressed on and replaced one of the assemblers with an offshore assembler to beacon the crap out of it. But power ain't doing so hot. I'll switch everything over to solid steam to boost production. That's just mean. We've got enough robot frames for the first load of yellow science, and low density structure is slowly coming together. But science stopped. Why is that? Man, why do speed modules take gray Slurpee juice? Making that off camera, blue circuits are trickling out, and we can start crafting our first batch of yellow Slurpee juice. Now, researching the silo takes 1,000 science, and we'll also need a cat, so 1,200 science, which at our current research productivity is still a lot of science. I've got nothing better to do, so manual stockpiling it is then. I forgot to mention, I also got this spoon item when I took too long, so there is a spoon. Get it? A long while later, we can start working on the cat and all the productivity modules. Widgets 4, which will unlock systematic heat filters, which will unlock MRI oxyclip finger sensors, which take blue belts and cluster grenades. On top of that, we also need to research pistols, which is completely useless, and Water 2 version 2, which is used to make refined concrete, which the silo now requires. I was hoping to get the entire run done in one sitting, but there's so much left to do. I'm going to bed. Well rested and slightly depressed systematic heat filters, which are just iron plates. Then I did bot breeding to amass enough logistics bots for the last sacrifice of the run. Blue belt production, which I'll fill the recipe in for once the research finishes, then the cluster grenades, which are just normal grenades but smelted. Hit those with the belt, and that's MRI oxyclip finger sensors. We'll still need 200 of those for the satellite, and those who know, we've forgotten something. We still need Stillwater 2, version 2. And water still kills me. No, I'm not going to research swimming. Respawning did let me see the cat though, who just hangs out next to the rocket debris. I usually don't do this since it can make the game too easy, but I caved and researched logistics system so we can transition to a bot base, since I'm getting very tired of walking items around. With freaky bots, making a ton of them will be easy peasy, although the power required is definitely going to be an issue. More solid steam power, productivity 3. Grapefish have a great time. Then I went to tear down bot production, but guess who switched the colors on the robot chests? Actually pretty funny, not gonna lie. Fixing that, and skipping ahead 13 minutes and 24 seconds, logistics and some worker robot speed. In an attempt to kneecap me at the last moment, requester chests take MRI oxyclip finger sensors to make, which is slightly annoying, but we'll make it work. Down comes the entire base, which takes a while, so I'll just jump ahead. I also built some lunar panels, which only work at night. Then I built some accumulators, which hold a ton of power each. So we built up quite a large buffer that we can use while we rebuild power production, properly ratioed this time, straight to solid steam. Then I covered the entire ore patch with mining drills, mining directly into passive provider chests, since our smelting is going to be bot-based. Right after that, I researched Bob the Inserter. Bob is also a little, longer than usual, but that works out in our favor. Then I set up each of the sciences with one assembler for each, and resumed the researches for the rocket, followed by a new soda setup, green circuits, rocket control units, more bots, red circuits, pistol, which I checked, there's nothing special about it, and Water 2 version 2. Still need the uranium for that, so back the bots go to pick up the magic rocks, and in goes advanced soda, which I didn't feel like dealing with the grapefish from it, so they'll just get buffered. Now we're finally researching the silo. Time to make rocket fuel. The crafting speed of the final refinery is pi, by the way, And the second to last one is very big.
What the?
With my ducks in a row and the fluids hooked up, we're starting to make the refined solid fuel. But the refined solid fuel doesn't actually refine refined solid fuel. No, it refines refined solid fuel, purely to make you build an expensive and pointless building. Bravo.
You...
But that's rocket fuel done and dusty. Uranium time. We still have to take it for a spin, but luckily we only need one of the crappy uranium for the pump. Just kidding. The probabilities are swapped. Looks like we'll have to refine a lot more.
Where are you going?
The rocket parts aren't made directly out of rocket fuel, low density structure, and rocket control unit 2.0s. No, they're made out of F, U, and N letters, which are made out of fish, corpses, and the regular rocket ingredients respectively. Our biggest holdback now is getting that uranium-238 for the water 2.2 pump. And just for fun, I took a look at Kovrak's enrichment, but it's evil. It hasn't been changed, so it's completely useless. That's the silo. Away with the science, and in goes rocket silo production, which, true to its name, has to be made in the cliffside silo assembler. Oh, and rocket part letter production. Once I got my hands on the uranium-238, I had to make a ton of the other 2 offshore pumps to craft the 3rd offshore pump, but eventually that's Water 2 version 2, and refined concrete. That's everything for the silo. Now for the satellite, where the only setback is needing 200 MRI oxyclip finger sensors, which will take quite a while to make. Down goes the silo, which incites the return of our beloved Cheeseman. In an act of mercy, the rocket silo has 10 module slots, but in an act of utter hatred, it doesn't accept productivity modules. Now we just have to wait. Wait a very long time. Yep. Bored, I set up a nuclear setup for fun, which can take either the usual uranium fuel cell or a nuclear fish, which are easier to make. Heat pipes and heat exchangers later, a little nuclear setup, with which the excess steam runs over to our solid steam engines. 30 minutes later,
Oh, that's so dumb.
with the fish kit rockish in place, and a landing pad. So long, and thanks for all the fish. "15 hours and 31 minutes. I'd like to take a moment to thank my supporters on Ko-fi. Fun mode is a mod that's supposed to be fun, but is it? Not gonna lie, I was in a pretty bad mood while I was playing it, but overall I did have a lot of fun. But there were definitely a few bouts of rage mixed in there over some of the crafting times of items or the cost of yellow science, but overall, yeah, it's funny every once in a while, but just slightly painful to actually play. Although, if you do decide to play the mod and beat it, you can message the author and they will add you as a supporter fish, like that big one swimming under the ground at the beginning of the video. But that's all for today. My name's DocJade. Bye-bye.